with Reaction Now, host of Malkin Investigates. Malkin, you look at all of this in detail, all of this here. This guy, 6 deportations he was facing. The federal government said to San Francisco, turn this guy over, and they refused to obey the law.
Sean, my outrage is laden with melancholy because I have reported and investigated on so many of these cases over the last 25 years, and there has been so little, if any, accountability for people in the federal, state, and local government who have blood on their hands. Kate Steinle and her family never wanted or wished for the publicity that they've gotten, the pain that they've suffered, and the fact that they have no choice but to be front and center in the headlines as they suffer as a result of this verdict. This really is, I think, a damning indictment of so-called San Francisco values. Where is Nancy Pelosi tonight? Where has she been for the last 25 years? This is her city, and it is her open borders policies that have haunted so many innocent people and innocent lives in San Francisco. And it is the conversion of America into a sanctuary nation instead of a sovereign nation that has endangered us. And it is one of the primary reasons that President Trump was elected in the first place, because people made a choice after seeing this fork in the road, after seeing both political parties, Sean, both Republicans and their big business donors and Democrats and their identity politics grievance mongers who don't care about the rule of law in this country, and the collusion between those two things that have created sanctuary policies and a sanctuary nation that still exists to this day. When will the city and county sheriff in San Francisco and that mayor and the governor ever be held accountable for the deaths as a result of bloody open borders? He
spent much of his life, adult life, behind bars. 6 times, as I said, he was going to be taken out. He actually said once he had aimed at a sea animal. He said another time that it fired when he stepped on it. I've been a pistol marksman since I'm 11 years old. Guns do not go off by themselves. There can be accidental shootings, a sea animal, and then you change your story. Here, there's a word for that. That's called lying. That's called,
yes.
They're not even close to being the same story.
That's right. It strains credulity, the story that the defense attorney told. And let me get back to him in a moment with his comments after the verdict, which were absolutely disgusting, some of which you showed. But the idea that he simply happened upon this weapon and it was, oopsie, an accident, when there were witnesses that testified at the trial that they saw him twirling the gun around recklessly beforehand and then scurrying away when the police were looking for who it was that caused Kate Steinle to fall to the ground and be shot in the back when she was, as you said, walking arm in arm with her father on a happy day. The idea that this defense attorney now is politicizing this verdict and rubbing salt into the wounds of Kate Steinle's family, it's disgusting. And it shows you the mentality, I think, that probably infected much of the jury. Did you know, Sean, that any discussion of immigration policy and Jose Zarate's 5 prior deportations, the detainer that was ignored by city and county officials, the pending 6th deportation, the 7 felony convictions, including 4 narcotics convictions, none of that was allowed to be presented to the jury. No wonder they ended up with the verdict they did.
All right, Malkin, the federal government had requested, and thank you for your time tonight.